Cyberpunk 2077 is one of my absolute favorite games of the last 5 years, so I thought it would be fun to make a custom collectible minifigure line based on that universe and its aesthetics. So let's get right into it. I think it's fitting for us to start off by making none other than Keanu Reeves' character, Johnny Silverhand. I'm gonna start with these dual molded legs that I'll add a torso from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to. This torso normally comes with black arms, but I have swapped them to light nougat and silver. Now for his head, I wanted to find one that had his very classic aviators, but I couldn't quite find one that matched close enough. So I went with this one that looks pretty close. Now all we have to do to finish off the fig is add a long black hairpiece and a revolver. I am super surprised by how good this one turned out, considering it's a complete mashup of different parts. Of course, a better face print with aviator glasses would have taken this fig a lot farther, but I think this one is good enough. It's funny, if you actually use Google Lens to search up this fig, it will actually bring up custom Keanu Reeves and Johnny Silverhand figures. Alright, moving on, let's now make some custom classes based on the game. In Cyberpunk 2077, you pick between 3 different life paths: the Nomad, the Corpo, and the Street Kid. My favorite of them is the Nomad, so let's make one. I'm gonna start off with the legs from a Beskar Mandalorian that I will then add a cowboy bandolier torso to. To give this character some more futuristic tech, I'll add a jetpack and a metallic neck piece, both from Star Wars. I'll also give him the head from Gar Saxon and a cowboy hat. And because he's a Nomad, he needs to have a motorcycle. I really love how this guy turned out, and the Mando legs work surprisingly well with that cowboy torso. Now, before we make a Street Kid, I think we need to make some members of the esteemed Night City Police Department. For these two, I'm going to be using the Alien Defense Unit torso and legs as the base. These, in my opinion, are the closest look to the NCPD uniforms in the game, so I'm going to give them some angry looking faces and hair as well. To finish off the NCPD officers, I'm going to give them some guns. This one just has a basic sniper rifle with a suppressor, and this one has a rifle that I've added a minifigure hand to look like a grip. I love how these guys turned out. Are they exactly one-to-one to the game? No, not really, but they are pretty close to what I was going for. Okay, now let's make a Street Kid. For the base of this fig, we'll be mashing up some old CMFs. Using some sweet dual molded legs, we'll also add this 80s inspired leather jacket. For this character, I wanted them to have some cybernetics, so I'm going to give them the head from Bo-Katan, which has this metallic print over the top. And we'll also give her a dark orange hairpiece. Now, my personal favorite build in the game was a crit-based stealth pistol build, so I'm going to make a pistol based on the ones that I used in-game. This Star Wars blaster looks pretty close to some of the ones in the game, and by adding on this candlestick piece, it looks like it has a suppressor. Alright, now that the Street Kid is done, the last life path we have to make is a Corpo. But first, I think we should make a Netrunner character. For this one, I'm going to be using some Mandalorian legs and a bright yellow torso from Lando Calrissian, giving her a face and some bright hair, and she's done. Now, a Netrunner is nothing without their chair, so I've made them a simple net running station. I'm just using a couple of hinge parts to achieve that leaned back look, and I've also given them a nice cushion on the top of the chair. I think it looks pretty solid for what it is. Okay, now let's make a Corpo character. For this guy, I wanted him to be pretty heavy on the cybernetics, so I went with some Darth Vader legs that work really well with this suit that I've added on. I've also given him a cybernetic arm to match the legs. When I originally first made this guy, he was using gold cybernetics, but it didn't quite translate as well as the silver parts do. For the head, I went with a Grief Cargo one and gave him some white hair. And he's done. I am a huge fan of how this one turned out in the end. Those Darth Vader legs really help a ton in making him look like he's got some reinforced upgrades. Alright, next we need to make one of the coolest groups in the anime, and one that is kind of lame in the actual game: Max Tac. So for the Max Tac officer, I just went with the Galaxy Trooper CMF and added a flesh tone face to him. This CMF was basically perfect for Max Tac. It has that beefed up armor and dark blue color scheme that matches the NCPD really well. Now obviously the space logo on the shoulders is less than ideal, but I think it still looks really solid. Okay, now I've got another Nomad to show you. This one is made with some more Mandalorian legs in dark gray and a torso from Pirates of the Caribbean. This torso and leg combo works really well, even though they are coming from 2 very different minifigs and themes. To finish off this fig, I'm going to give him a puzzled looking face and a revolver. Alright, so our last 2 figs are going to be a couple members of the Tiger Claw gang. These 2 are both using the same torsos and legs from the 2018 Han Solo's Landspeeder, and are rocking some custom brick-built guns. My favorite is definitely the SMG that I made for this guy with just a couple of black parts. And the other gun is made with some gray parts and has a gray hand again as a grip. I just love how these 2 look, and I think they fit really well into the Tiger Claws aesthetic in the game. And that's all of the figs that I made. I would have loved to have made some more characters from the game and the anime, but the prototypes that I made for them just didn't quite look close enough to what I wanted them to look like in this video. If you'd like to see me take another crack at making more characters from the series, please let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching.